Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv, where you get the reliable news that is tailored for you, and of course where you can actually comment and interact.
With Biafra on the minds of a lot of progressive-minded people, of course we have the ones that are not progressive-minded, we have the ones that their thoughts are backwards, their thoughts are not in line with what is needed at the moment. Although I know that there are a lot of saboteurs, there are a lot of people that are hiding under the IPOB flag, and they are using this to perpetrate other things. Of course, they will be found out, as Biafra is not just a movement that anyone will want to break down or tarnish. Yes, I understand that there might be some, issues and challenges here and there. That's what life is all about anyway. There are a lot of people that are calling for 2023 Igbo presidency, and I ask myself, if you have a governor from the east of Nigeria, a governor that is your kinsman, your brother, your cousin, your relative, and he's still involved in looting and criminal activities, and he doesn't care about you, do you think that an Igbo man being the president of Nigeria will make any difference? No, because it is still the same chief of the old block, the same group of criminals that will mount that stage. And of course, according to the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, he once said that being given that position is not what they need, like being offered to them like on a platter of gold, like, okay, we are paying you guys off with this. He said, and moreover, if anybody from any region gets into that seat, that person might not be able to perform as a result of the constitution. And I asked myself, how? What is the constitution that Buhari is making use of whenever he disobeys court rulings and does whatever he likes? Is it because he was involved in military and he has military brothers or people from the north that are ready to tear Nigeria apart if anything happens? Okay, he said it's just sectional aggrandizement anyway, meaning if an Igbo man steps in there, the life of Igbos will not change. If a Yoruba steps in there, the lives of Yorubas will not change. And now that you have Hausa, or we have a Fulani man from Katsina State, Daura, what has changed? A lot of our Majuris on the street, they are much more destitute, much more, their lives is just backwards, much more than you can ever think of. So what does it mean? It tells you that they are only there for themselves. So I now said this. I said, with all of these challenges, what is the way out? I said, if 2023, Nigeria is not broken apart, then if an Igbo man steps in there and that Igbo man does not call for a referendum to vote to stay in Nigeria or out of Nigeria, of course, a contraption that has expired, a geographical expression, a fraud on itself, a business center for them to just dip their hands and steal from. If it does not, then that Igbo man, either he was born during Civil War, he was in the Civil War, he was born after that, should be, you know what should be done to that person anyway. So the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, headed by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is a group, a movement, of course, with the comrades, that is right now standing firm. Yes, they have their own issues, and of course, Nnamdi Kanu is not a perfect person. There are certain things that he does or says that are not in line, but I want to look at the bigger picture anyway, and the bigger picture is this: Nigeria is not working, and you cannot handle these vampires by being soft with them. You have to call a spade, and you have to be ready to rise. And that is also why I do say, let everybody be don't just be an activist. Don't just act and keep shouting all a Biafra or whatever movement or freedom fighting group or whatever it is. Do not just be that. You should have the ability to reflect as you move. If not, you will turn to be a tyrant. You should be able to look inwards yourself. If not, you will bring a little bit of what we are talking about in Nigeria into the bigger picture. After all, these people that you complain about, they didn't fly from the moon down to Nigeria. They also grew up from a family. They have a religion. They have cultural values and morals and whatever things that they embrace. But look at what they have turned to. So it's important. So let's get to the crux of the issue now here. Biafra. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has said that the only way to determine who wants to remain in Nigeria is a referendum. And that's what I said initially, where the people will exercise their right on whether or not they want to self-rule or continued existence within Nigeria. It said the United Nations supervised referendum is a must and a right for every human being in Nigeria to unequivocally state whether or where they wish to belong to. It's true. This is a contraption, an expression that has expired. What are we doing? This is fraudulent. This is terrible. This is fraudulent. I've not seen people so submissive, so subservient, people so myopic, people mediocre-minded people. What is this? This is not a country. You think this is a country where everyone dips his hands in here and there, and there is no sense of ownership, there's no sense of belonging, and everyone is just by themselves. We are talking about groups of people with different languages, different cultural values, religion, and a lot of things being forced to be together. You are wasting your time. This is what they call time waster. Time waster. This is what's happening to a lot of people there. In a statement signed by the media and publicity secretary of the group, Comrade Ima Powerful, he said those of them in IPOB and Biafrans in general expect that the United Nations go ahead to supervise this referendum, which will enable even those living beyond the boundaries of Biafra to equally determine their own fate. It's very easy. That's it. There's no need of, oh, we want to stay as one Nigeria. How dare anyone say, let's stay as one? You can't tell people to stay. It should be allowed for people to vote in. Yes, I understand that the United Kingdom wanted to break apart from, I'm talking about not the Brexit anyway, although they are on their Brexit, because why? They don't want to stay. Now, I'm talking about Scotland, I'm talking about other parts that wanted to stay off. In fact, right now, Ireland had to cut off from the United Kingdom forcefully. I understand that many nations, even the ones that you say, oh, they are this, a lot of things happened in Ireland before they broke out. And now there are other people that are asking for a break. Also, they did the first referendum in the United Kingdom. Scotland wanted to break, but somehow it is said and reviewed later that the Prime Minister then had to call on the Queen. The Queen came and said something. He said, consider your future if you break, meaning we are going to deal with you. So do not think that breaking away is a joke. Even in the United Kingdom itself, the Queen had to speak in a certain way to scare them off. And they of course, they passed some cash around. But the truth of it is that if you meet an average Scottish person, they do not want to remain. So what vote kept them there? That should tell you that there is a lot. There is a lot to be done. So it's not just going to be referendum and vote. We all have to search within ourselves and be very determined about this. If not, you will go through the vote, and the United Nations coupled with the West and some other people will make sure that the vote does not pass so that Nigeria remains the way it is, because it's beneficial to them. If Nigeria breaks apart, how do you think many of those foreign companies that come into Nigeria, they do dirty deals and steal off oil? How do you think they will do it? So they like Nigeria the way it is because it is beneficial to them. The more progressive any African nation is, the bad or the worse it is for the West, because they don't want your growth. Naturally, they don't want you to grow. They don't want you to rise more than them. They are afraid of this. Every morning they wake up, they are afraid of this. That's why France will not leave those francophone countries in Africa. They want to make sure that they keep them there because they are afraid. They are afraid. And the worst of it is that African people, I don't know if it's as a result of slave trade or because they've been shown the picture of a Caucasian Jesus, they end up repeating the same thing and acting foolish. They do not want to stand as one. But how do you stand if you're not educated? I'm not talking of school. If you don't re-educate yourself and throw away stupid things like Mungo Park discovered River Niger, weren't people there? Or someone discovered America, as if people weren't there. So all of these things are important if we have to look at the issue of referendum and asking the United Nations to come in. I understand that the United Nations is coming in so that there will be a peaceful referendum. But then do not hope and do not put all your hope on United Nations and say, okay, once they do it, we don't want to stay and they are going to tell us the truth. No, be very careful. Let us open our eyes. That is a problem with many Africans. Many of them have become mediocres and everything. They say, oh, God will do it. No, there are things you should do also by thinking well and making sure that what you need is actually gotten. So they went further to say we want freedom for all, not just for Biafrans alone. According to the group, IPOB is making frantic efforts to ensure that this happens in the shortest possible time. The group also said it will not force or intimidate anyone or try, because the will of the people is sacrosanct and must be respected. According to all these the comments that came up after this, it is clear that people want a break. Of course, there are people that own businesses that don't want a break. So, what is your opinion as regards this? The leader of the group, Nnamdi Kanu, he has said what he needs to say, and he said he is confident of securing over 99.9% vote. That's just it. He said he is very sure that he's going to get that percentage. Maybe the rest 0.1% is those saboteurs. Maybe they will repent and it will become 100. But whatever it is, that's a huge number. I know that 99.9% of these, of Biafrans or even Igbos are not ready for Biafra. But then, what do we do? Are we going to sit down and allow them to continue to mess things up? No, we have to look into this issue. So the Southeast, the South, many of them are, indicating interest in Biafra, indicating that they need a democratic state, a state where everyone means something. So what's your opinion about this? Is this a good news or not? And of course, what I also pointed out, so that we can open up our eyes and think outside of the box.
I say a very big thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.